Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. I'm super excited today. My guest is IFBB Wellness Pro, Marissa Andrews. How are you doing?
Hi, you guys. I'm good. I am absolutely exhausted, but I'm good.
Yeah, you're like, what are we, like 7? How many weeks out are we now?
It's like 7 weeks and it's Tuesday, so like 4 days, like just under 8 weeks.
Yeah, first Olympia. How excited are you?
I get more excited when people say the word first Olympia. I like in my head, I keep saying, oh, Olympia, Olympia. And people are like, oh no, this is your debut, like your Olympia debut. This is your first Olympia of many. And I'm like, I'm really excited.
It's
I'm,
freaking,
yeah.
yeah, it's freaking unbelievable. It's freaking unbelievable. Your transformation has been wild, and we're definitely going to take a look at your Instagram and some of your pictures. But so first of all, you're in Detroit, so like you're east side, I'm west side of the state.
Right, right.
Have you been in Michigan your whole life?
No, so I was born and raised in Windsor, Ontario. So I'm both Canadian and American. Oh my God, why did I blank on the name of our? I'm a dual citizen, and I'm actually in the process of getting my Cypriot citizenship too. So I was born and raised in Windsor till I was like 8, moved to Michigan, and then ended up moving to Detroit because it's like 15 minutes from school.
Nice. Very cool. Where are
Yeah.
you going to school right now, and what are you going for?
I am currently at Detroit Mercy Dental School, and I'm going to study, or I'm studying to become a dentist. Whether I go into cosmetic dentistry or specialize into oral surgery is yet to be seen. The course load right now, trying to balance both dental school and bodybuilding, trying to specialize might be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated, but we'll see. I'll let you know in 4 years.
That's like, it's such a great field because it will always be necessary, never goes away. I'm sure that they're constantly updating things with technology and whatnot, but what a great yeah, what a great vocation to be going into. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm really excited. It's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
have a background in, I always wanted to be a doctor. And then getting closer to college, I fell in love with art. So finding nobody in my family is a dentist. It didn't even cross my mind. And finding this niche of like, every single day we go in and physically sculpt teeth. Like our first assignment was we got a like a block and we had to sculpt a tooth from wax, like just melting wax, sculpting teeth. And it's like, it feels like scientific arts and crafts every day, and I am loving it. I'm drowning, but I'm loving it.
So that's so cool. Well, what a great, yeah, what a great vocation. Super cool. And like you said, the artistic side of it, you don't even think about stuff like that. But yeah, there is an art to probably a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's important for so many people think like they want to get into bodybuilding, and it's like that really can't be your job for most people, right? So
Yeah.
the practicality of it, that you are getting into something really big, is cool. Is very cool.
Thanks. It's it is it bodybuilding is one of my favorite hobbies, but there's not a lot of money in the actual sport itself. So unless I wanted to go into coaching or if I was a better businesswoman and had better, I would be doing really good. But as for right now, this is what we're doing.
Well, I wanted to just say, like, your name is tossed around in this industry as one of the most wonderful people. And I want you to know that you have such a great, yeah, your reputation is like, everybody loves you. They just have wonderful things to say. And I have to say, like, I got to meet you at the Grand Rapids, where I was emceeing, and I immediately caught that vibe. Like, you just
Oh,
are all positivity. And I don't know if you're like that all the time, but it definitely doesn't, like, it's not fake at all. Like, it's 100% you. That's so great.
thank you. That means so much. That seriously, the person that I am today and the person I was like 3 years ago are completely different human beings. And I can genuinely say that even if I'm exhausted, even if I'm tired, at this point in my life, I wake up happy and I go to bed happy. Or sorry, happy may not be the right term. I'm content. Everything I'm content with. I know there's days that I'm sad, I'm drowning, I'm exhausted, but at the end of the day, like I am so happy to be doing what I'm doing. Even if I'm sad and crying, I would still rather be having a mental breakdown trying to manage all of these things than not doing them in the first place. So that's really sweet. Oh, thanks. You're
I
super sweet.
well,
You're
and
like,
I love that perspective too. Like I've talked to different people about this, how, I mean, here you are now, 7.5 weeks out from the biggest show in the whole entire universe for bodybuilding. And so many people have, there's a different mood going in. And I just love the fact that you are, sounds like yourself, just a little bit more chill, probably because maybe energy is not quite as as high as what it normally can be. Is that kind of fair to say?
honestly, my energy is higher than it's ever been. I'm so much better of a person when I'm in prep. Like at this point now, like I am happy, dancy, go lucky. And especially going into, I think the fact that this is such a big show, it has humbled me so much that just the fact that I get onto the stage, I have already won. Like with everything, with trying to manage school and my athletes and posing and prep, like trying to manage all of these things. I always say, like, people are like, oh, what do you like? What is your placing? What are you hoping for? I'm like, I'm just hoping to get to the stage. If I can do both of these things with a smile on my face and get there, then I've won. And I think that fact has been making it so much easier for me to follow my plan in prep, because there's not this weight of, oh, I need to win. Oh, I need to be Miss Olympia. It's, I need to be the best version of Marissa Andrews that she can be. And I understand that I have school that starts at 7:30 every morning and it goes till 5:30 every day. And I also like, it just, there's so much other stuff going on that I've learned to just kind of let things roll off my back. And I physically don't have time to be anxious right now. So I schedule my little mental breakdowns for the weekends, definitely not during the week. Absolute Monday through Friday off limits. I cry on the weekends and then I get it back together and I hit like, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, my energy is high. I'm happy, I'm content, I'm moving forward.
Yeah. It sounds like you understand, Shelby Stearns always says that bodybuilding is, it's not really a sacrifice, it's a privilege. And I think that you are looking at it that way.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about your background. I know we talked about you moving from Canada to Michigan, but what kind of sports were you in growing up? And then what got you into what got you into bodybuilding?
I played soccer growing up. I ran track. I was a sprinter. So I can thank both of those sports for my quads. Um, I played select soccer. I traveled the world country playing soccer, and I ended up getting into bodybuilding. Um, well, the real story is I had some stuff going on in my life. I've always battled depression. And my senior year of college, I was very close to losing that battle. And my sister, over one Christmas break, I was depressed, anxious, didn't want to do much. And she literally basically like grabbed me by the hair and was like, that's fine. I'm going to the gym. Like, you're going to come just sit there. Like, we're just going to go to the gym with me. And then she would just like put a weight in my hand and be like, do this movement. And like, she taught me like a routine, and I started just loving it. I walked out for the first time in God, so long time, feeling not anxious. And it wasn't that I was ecstatic. It wasn't like it cured my depression. It was just for the first time I like felt this sense of peace, and it became addictive, and I found it was like my like safe place. So I would be my senior, like my last semester of senior year of college, I almost failed out this semester before. I went from getting straight A's, I was a 4.0 student. My first semester of my senior years, I almost failed out. It was that dramatic. And then I managed to bring it back up my last semester. But that's how I started working out. It honest to God saved my life. It gave me a place that I could go where I could just shut off the world. And the only thing I needed to think about was how many times I needed to lift my arms up and down, or how heavy like I could squat that day. And I saw, especially in squats, I know it sounds so dramatic, but squatting may have saved my life. Like I would see weights that I would try to lift and I would physically fall to the ground. Like I would literally fail. And then the next week I would be able to do it. And it just kind of like this light bulb clicked in my head where it's like the thing that made me fail last week, failing itself last week, set me up for success. I would not have been able to succeed at lifting this weight today if I didn't fall on my ass. Can I swear? If I fall on my ass last week, and it just everything in my life kind of started accepting that mindset. If I failed, that was necessary for me to succeed next week. There is no such thing as just failing. The only time you fail is when you give up, and it's like it's so necessary. So that's the whole bodybuilding side. My depression started getting better, or working outside. And then I actually started bodybuilding. My sister is obviously in the sport, and she had been pushing me, pressuring me to try to get on stage. And then eventually one year she was just like, not 1 year, about a year and a half ago, she was like, we're going to do this show. We're going to sign you up, just see what happens. So I didn't really prep for it. I didn't really have a coach that was invested. And I just got on stage. And once again, I felt home. And ever since then, I just like me as a human being just started blossoming. Everything, I was happy every day. I found this place in life that felt like I was meant to be here. And I absolutely bombed my first show. I got dead last, but I walked off stage and I was the happiest person I've ever been. And ever since then, I just feel like in this life, I finally found this calling that it's like this is what you're meant to do. This is what you love, and this is what you're really good at. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you found almost like you found a purpose, and that's
Yeah.
maybe part of the reason why you were so depressed. Well, I hate that you had to go through that, but what a journey, and finding that strength and knowing that failure is necessary. Absolutely, absolutely incredible. So how long has it been? So what year was that you were struggling, that you graduated from college? And then how long has it been now that you have been training and competing? Can you talk a little bit about your competition history?
So I graduated college in 2018. So it was around like New Year's of 2018. I started actually training in the gym. And mind you, when I would say training, I would walk in and I would try to squat as heavy as I possibly could. And then I'd go run wind sprints. And I did that alone, which I think also really helped me develop for wellness, because all I did was just squat super heavy and then sprint. So like it was like glutes, glutes, hamstrings, hamstrings. And then I'd go to the treadmill and it's like quads. And like I feel like I was subconsciously training for this physique before I knew what I was doing. And then my first show was the Mel Chansey Holiday Classic in 2020, December of 2020. I started officially training and starting a real prep for my first show in Michigan of New Year's Day of 2021. So just about, what month is it now? Like a year and 10 months ago. So just under 2 years, which is crazy. Time has flown by. But I did the Flint Mid Michigan show where I won my class overall. I did the Pittsburgh Pro-Am where I got second in the NPC. And then the week after, so 4 months after I started training, I went to Junior USA's. I won my class, won my overall, and earned my pro card. I was absolutely burnt out, because to go from never competing before, never training like this before, to go full force into the sport, absolutely it drained me. So I tried to push forward into a pro show and got immediately humbled. Once again, I got last place, but then I took an off season. I reset my mind, I reset my health, and I went into St. Louis Pro with a coach, a new coach. His name is Chris Grunlian. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's who I'm still working with today. We went into our first show together and managed to win and qualify for the Olympia, and then went into Pittsburgh Pro, got sixth on the prestigious Pittsburgh Pro stage, which is surreal. And now we went into a off season and we're going for the Olympia. But I think the biggest thing, which is going back to this failure thing, is I did my first show and I got dead last. And then the next show I did, I won, and I won my pro card. And then I did a pro debut and I got dead last. And then the next show I did, I won and I qualified for the Olympia. And it's the sense of failing and then coming back and not allowing the failure to be an absolute failure. This failure is just a lesson. So I think that's like, if there was to be like a theme of my shows, the thesis statement of my shows, it would be don't let failure make you fail, I guess. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was cute. I like that. It's my new Instagram caption. Mental note.
There's like no predicting with this show, with this sport though. You know what I mean? Like they can set up all the criteria, the judges can set up all the criteria on paper for a particular category, and then you can think you match it and go in, and then you don't know who's going to show up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all craziness. So do you know how many of you there are now qualified for the Olympia in the wellness category?
I want to say like 26, maybe. I think that there's a couple more that qualified. So I think we're probably going to have around 30 girls for wellness this year.
That's so crazy. Are you like, I mean, you're one of them. And are you just like floored at like, are you so wowed by like, like it's like celebrities or something? Do you feel like I'm like one of these girls? That's craziness.
It is pretty surreal to see the girls that you looked up to now become your crowd, like your colleagues. It's just like these girls I used to follow on Instagram before I was bodybuilding, these girls who have been bodybuilding for almost as long as I've been alive, like are now the girls I'm stepping on stage against. And at first, I think I was a little nervous, but now it's like I'm here. Like they're not, I may not be the favorite to win. I may not be as big as a celebrity as some of these girls, but if they're going to beat me, I'm going down fighting. So that starstruck got kicked out of me real quick. Um, and yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how else to explain it. I love, like, I respect and like they have my utmost respect. Their journey, they've been doing this for so long, and I'm so impressed with them. And I will forever look up to every girl in this sport. I look up to, whether you're a pro, amateur, any level. If you invest your time and energy in this sport, sometimes your body just doesn't respond. That's the harsh reality of the sport. I could do the same exact thing as the girl next to me, but because of something in my DNA, I respond better and I'll win the show. So just because you're winning shows and just because you're going to these certain levels doesn't mean that I respect you any more or less than the person next to you, because the person next to you could be working just as hard, if not harder. So I will always respect and love the women in this sport because I know just how hard this is. So in that regard, I still absolutely look up to them and absolutely love them, but that does not mean that I'm going to make it easy for them to beat me in 7.5 weeks. So
I don't, are you, do you and your sister have a nice little rivalry going on? What does that look like?
it's actually been super fun lately. So we didn't really have a lot of like back and forth going into Pittsburgh Pro, but in the last like we saw each other at my brother's wedding and we just like got so excited and we started making all of these plans and excitement. And I think that like our rivalry is like with everybody else. Like we are very much like we keep talking about like the Andrews sisters. Like we're doing this together. Like we're going down. We're going to plan a road to Olympia with Jim Mannion, and he invited both of us, and we put him in a group chat, and we're like, so when are we coming down? Like we're always like we have a photo shoot that's scheduled, and it's like she'll put me in a group chat or I'll put her in a group chat. I'm like, all right, so when are we shooting? So like everything is like very much I keep telling her, I'm like, I know, I understand how the sport works and you have to earn your keep. And I understand that my sister has been in this sport since before I graduated college. So now for 5 years, maybe a little more, but she's been doing this for so much longer than I have, double the time I have. If she was going to win, this would be a year. She has a real shot. Getting third at the Arnold's is not an easy feat. So I keep telling her, I'm like, this is your year. I'm like, I have my goals. I have what I want. I'm like, but this is your year. And if they tried, like, if you win, and they try to hold me off stage and not so I can't run and give you a hug on stage. I'm like, I really hope the glaze just gotta like so I can like just jump on stage. But honestly, like we are really each other's biggest fans. Like I'm so excited to see her crush it. I literally FaceTimed her actually while I was just driving home from the gym. So I know that a lot of people want us to like, be like, oh, I'm gonna kick your butt, but it's like she's like, if she keeps telling me, she's like, if somebody's gonna beat me, I really just hope it's my sister. And I'm like, same. Like, if someone's gonna win, like, I want it to be you. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. It's like Team Andrews. The we is like, yeah, Team Andrews.
Yeah, we're actually making little t-shirts that have like the jersey, like a little jersey, like crop jerseys for the road to Pittsburgh that say Andrews 1 and Andrews 2. And my dad wants a little jean jacket because he is the most typical dad with dad jokes that says it's all in the jeans because he wants to take all the credit for us. He's so cute. I love that guy.
So awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So your family are coming to watch you guys also?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your sibling dynamic. Where are you in the mix here, and what else do you have here as far as
The
siblings?
baby. I'm the
You're
baby.
the baby.
I'm 26 right now. My sister is the oldest, so she's 8 years older than me. And then I have a brother that's 2 years older than me who just got married. He's in medical school, applying to residencies for orthopedic surgery, and just married the love of his life. We just got another Andrews sister, and she is going for OBGYN. So if you can't tell who the star child is, it's definitely the one that doesn't take his pants off on stage all the time. So but it's fine.
Doctors, you're all going into like doctor fields.
Yeah.
That's so
I'm very excited.
cool. Your parents must be just so proud.
I hope so. We try really hard to make them proud. We really do. Everything, seriously, everything in this life. My mom came from a very, very harsh beginning. My grandfather moved to the US. He left his hometown when he was 8 years old because his father said, you can either be a goat herder or you can get out of my house. So he was in the villages in Cyprus, and at 8 years old, packed his bags and went to the capital by himself, snuck onto a fisher boat and came to the US alone. Didn't speak English, just came to the US. And to start from that, and like have like my mom start from a rough beginning, and then to have everything that she's built, it's really something that I can't take that for granted. Like I can't stop working hard because I've seen what my mother had to overcome. I've seen what my father had to overcome. It would be so disrespectful for me to not work hard, or not to just sit back and accept these gifts after I've watched them relentlessly build this for us. It's just, yeah, I really hope I make them proud, like every day. That's what I hope. I swear.
That it totally made me tear up. I love that your parents worked so hard, and instead of you accepting it as a gift, you're like, I also have to work so hard. I love that.
All I want in this life, I swear to God, all I want is I just want to get my first big girl paycheck, and I want to spend it on them. Oh, after St. Louis for my birthday, I told my dad, he's like, what do you want for your birthday? My friend's like, what do you want? I was like, I want you to buy me dinner. And he's like, that sounds great. So what I didn't tell him is that when I was like 12 years old, we went to the Georgia Aquarium and we both scuba dive. My dad and I scuba dive. It's our hobby. And there's this giant tank with whale sharks and manta rays. And it's massive. And me and him made the vow on that day that we would come back and scuba dive together there. And I got my paycheck from winning the show, and I turned around and I bought us plane tickets and I bought us the experience. So literally 10 years later, I finally got to give something back to my father, and seeing him literally being like, I picked him up in the car. We drove to the airport. He's like, what are we doing here? I'm like, we're going to Atlanta. And he's like, what? I'm like, we're going to Atlanta. We're going to go scuba dive. And he's like, what do you mean scuba dive in Atlanta? And I was like, we're going to go swim with sharks. And it was just, he's Greek. He's has a mean Greek face. And to see him tear up, the best moment of my whole life, being able to give just a little baby fraction back to these people is just the most rewarding thing. So I can't wait till I get a real big girl paycheck so I can buy them something exciting. And it's just, I can't wait. That's literally my whole dream. Like people are like, what would you do if you win the lottery? Buy my parents a boat. Like do something for those people because by God, they don't do it for themselves.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. You are such a doll, Marissa. You're just such a sweetheart. Ugh, that's so, yeah, your parents can't be anything but so proud. That's just so cool.
now you're gonna make me cry. Thank you. Thank you.
So you have I think I saw on your Instagram not too long ago you guys went to Greece. Have you been there before, or like how many times? It looks so amazing.
I go a bunch. We still have family over there. So I started going when I was in high school. The first time I went was when I was in high school, and I actually moved there to live at a refugee camp. And I worked in the clinic of a company called Praxis, and it was just like an abandoned airport, just a little bit outside of Athens. So it was a Syrian refugee camp. I went there to volunteer and work in the clinic there. Um, and during the week, I would live at the camp, work at the camp, and the weekends I would spend going to islands. And it was the most amazing trip ever. Super rewarding. But then since then, I've gone back almost every year. I became very close with my family that lived there. I started learning real Greek and not mountain Greek. That's what I call it. It's really bad grammar Greek. It's basically like what a 2-year-old would talk. Not even like maybe like an 8 like we're like talking gibberish. But like so yeah, I go back every year. It's amazing. My family lives over there and it's very cool. So
That's so awesome. That's
yeah,
like it's totally, it's so beautiful. And I see pictures. I'm like, this is,
perfect.
it's definitely like a destination that I would love to visit someday. So I just thought, oh, so cool. So
Yeah,
cool.
it is so cute. And then I went to Cyprus. So my dad's side of the family is from Athens. My mom is from Cyprus, which is like a small island off the coast of Greece. And my grandmother, her whole life, has always told us that she was a celebrity in Cyprus. And when my grandfather was old enough, he literally got on a this is the most hilarious thing. My grandfather, they're so traditional. My grandfather got on a fishing boat with 3 goats from the US, went back to Greece, showed up at the village and said, I have these 3 goats. Who has a daughter with 3 goats? So my great grandmother literally was like, I do, and like brought my grandmother off like down the mountain, introduced him to my like introduced the two of them. They got married, they ate a goat at the wedding, and they left the two with the parents, and then they brought her back to the US. And it was like all right. So we've always heard this story that my grandmother was like the celebrity in Cyprus. So we were driving, we were getting lost. You drive on the opposite side of the road in Cyprus. So my dad was frazzled and we kept stopping and asking for directions. And from the back seat of the car, my grandmother would like poke her head out and like in Greek would be like, it's me, Xenia from Prodromi, which is the name of the village. And every time we're like, yeah, like no, like they don't know you. We're in the middle of nowhere. And they literally be like, Xenia, like, is that you? Is that really you? And it ended up being her like second cousin. And it happened, I'm not kidding, like over 10 times. She literally would just stop somewhere and she'd be like, hi, I'm Xenia from Bodromi. And literally they'd be like, it's been so long. Like everyone knew her. And it was the most incredible thing. She passed away actually just last year. But having that memory of her just being literally, I thought it was a joke, but she's legitimately a celebrity in Cyprus. And it is the coolest thing ever. So going back to their hometown with my grandparents and parents, it was just the best thing I could have asked for. Better than any island hopping, better than any partying for the summer. It was just seeing my grandparents in their element was just like mwah, amazing.
So great. So being worth 3 goats is like
Yeah,
the
she told
best
me
thing.
she said I'm worth a cow. So
I mean, I'm not going to argue.
I'm sure you're worth a cow too. I'm sure if she was here, she would let you know. Maybe 2 cows, maybe 2.
2 cows, little baby as
Mhm.
well as oh my word. So
I would take that, like a little calf and a cow. That'd be cute. It'd be cute.
yeah, yeah, it's so great. What fun. What fun. Well, Marissa, let's talk a little bit about, so what is what's the hardest part for you with bodybuilding? Is it, I'm sure you love the training. is it like, let's talk a little bit about your training and your diet. Do you just love it all, or is it come easy to you?
It kind of it comes easier now. My first prep was very, very aggressive. I got to the point where I was not allowed to eat salt. My coach would tell me to just eat water some days. My For like a month, I was eating 4 egg whites 4 times a day. So literally 275 calories on top of 3 hours of cardio, on top of training. It was exhausting. So now when new coach, um, when he tells me it's time to suffer and he drops my calories down to 1600 with an hour of cardio, I'm like, you're embarrassing yourself, Christopher. Like, you're embarrassing me. Don't be rude. Don't disrespect me like this. Um, but I think that I honestly, the biggest part is that I've always been very extroverted and I love people. I really do. But my social battery, because of everything that I do, has started to dwindle. So I want to go out. I want to be with people. I want to go out to eat. I want to keep going to shows, but I'll be there for like a couple of hours. And then it's like my blood sugar it just plummets. And it's like I'm fighting. My mind says one thing and my body just will not respond. And it's just, I think that is the hardest thing for me to balance is my like extroversion combined with bodybuilding and like the actual energy I have. But otherwise, I do love food, so that I'm never gonna say that's easy. The diet is never easy, but nobody likes the diet in bodybuilding. You don't go into bodybuilding because you don't like food. That's never a thing. You go into bodybuilding because you absolutely love working out, and then you get swindled into it, and they're like, everything that brings you joy, you can't do that. Like, does it spark? It's like the reverse Marie Kondo. Like, does it spark joy? Get rid of it. Like, you like having a nice little glass of wine? Nope. You like like you like having a cookie? Think again. So it's like everything that sparks joy is just like gone. But I've never, I think I've never felt absolute bliss other than when I've won a show. And like it's just pure unbridled cathartic. It's like there's been a rubber band that you've been stretching for months and months and months, and you're just holding it out here. And then it's like it finally snaps, and it's just like pure ecstasy of just like happiness and cathartic. And it's just like I know why people fall to the ground when they win. It's because just like everything that they've been working for and torturing themselves and just working so hard, just kind of like boom. Just like, yeah.
Like emotional collapse.
Yes, it
Implosion.
is.
Implosion.
Yeah, I honest to God, before I'd won a show, I thought people were just being a little dramatic. And I was like, okay, stand up. And then I won a show and my body just went limp. And I was like, oh, oh, they're not doing this on purpose. Like, this is just full blown. Their body just was like, we are like, have been sprinting for months. And it's like, you finally hit the finish line. And it's just like, your body is just like, I've done my job. And then you just kind of like crawl into yourself. And it's like, yes, like, you did this. Like, yeah. So I think that's, yeah.
It sounds like all of the things that make you perfect for this sport, and has then in turn brought out all these characteristics of you and amplified them, right? You're super driven, obviously, very positive, maybe love the torture just a little bit.
A little bit. I feel like you have to be a little crazy to enjoy this sport as much as I do. Yeah, it's fair.
I know Melissa Brodsky was saying, she was like, if I if I did it the way somebody else liked it, like less masochistic, I don't think I would love it as much.
We were talking. Yes, we were talking. I saw her this weekend. She's so
Yeah.
cute. I was supposed to come on. We were talking about maybe coming on Chick Chat on Sunday, but I was up since 3:30. I didn't get home until 11 p.m. It was a packed day. But no, you're so right. We were talking about it and we were talking about our diet. And there's just like a lot of people in this sport try to make their food more enjoyable, which each their own. If that works for you, then that's amazing. I think the worse my food tastes, the better I do in prep. Like, I don't know why. It's kind of like a mindset shift where it's like, this is not for enjoyment. This is fuel. This is something that this is fuel I put in my tank of gas, like in my car, so that I can keep driving. And once that tank is empty, I refill it and I keep moving. And I have to think about food at this point the same way, or else because I love food so much, if I think I should be enjoying it and I don't enjoy it as much as I think in my mind I should, then I just keep eating and then I don't eat on my diet or I'll cheat on my diet. But if I think of it just as I need this as fuel until my tank is empty and then I need more fuel, then I can keep moving and I can function more properly because it's just this whole shift of mindset.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. So is your off season a little bit less structured and you get to have a little bit more enjoyable food? You're like laughing so hard now.
I get so big in my off season.
Would you say you get so thick in your off season?
I literally, if I could shit on for one thing in the sport, it's about how fluffy I get. My face is starting red. It's literally, I get ripped apart. Somebody made an Instagram page making fun of me, calling me Marissa Fatty Beast in my off season because I was thick. But I don't care. I loved it. And like I wasn't like morbidly obese, but I was like, I had body fat
Yeah.
and I loved it. And I was curvy and I felt like a sexy woman. And I finally had boobies again because right now they disappeared and that is rude. So like everything just kind of like filled out and I felt so feminine. But like if it was up to everybody else, I wouldn't look like that. But for me, I ate, I went to Greece, I traveled, I went to, oh my God, I was everywhere for a while, but like Mexico, Greece, I was traveling to shows and I just kept like enjoying life and building. And I think I put on like 10 pounds of muscle, honestly, in this last off season. Like
Yeah.
I'm 150 right now and almost as lean as I was at my last show at 133. So if I drop water, if I start cutting, like I'm like, it's a good 10 pounds of muscle. And I could not have gotten that without bulking as aggressively as I did. So I enjoyed it. And I definitely have a lot of freedom in my own mind. Does my coach give me that freedom? Absolutely not. Does he send me pictures of, do you know that meme where it's like the cow on the beach, like looking out into the ocean? Does he send me that picture? And it was like, oh my God, I found this picture of you in Greece. Absolutely. But like, I still had a great time. Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
joke's on them. I mean, it served its purpose, you know what I mean? And you were like totally living your best life. So I
I
think
needed it.
that break for a lot of people allows you to be really, really strict for, and not cheat for your show. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
And now I don't have to cut as hard. Honestly, like all I had to do at first, I'm down like 20 something pounds. I got to like 170, which is a little bit too much. But now like in order to start cutting, I really just had to like stop smoking. Stop smoking as much. And like stop ordering like a pizza every day. And as soon as I stopped ordering a pizza every day, the weight just started peeling off. And it was like I didn't have to like absolutely it wasn't 275 calories a day. Like I'm on the lowest I am and I'm at 1600 calories and like I have only cardio 6 days a week. And like it just peels. So like I reset my metabolism so well. I reset my mindset so well that it's like it's just so much easier now. Just like my body was like this is too big, so it's helping me out and I'm like this is great. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Like
I love that you're just like, all I had to do is not eat a pizza every day. Duh.
seriously, literally. My coach was so mad. I was in Greece and I got there the day before all my friends did. So I was like just out, like seeing friends. I was a little bit wine drunk. Oh my God, the tavernas there are so cute. They have live music everywhere. So you just like you post up and like you sit there and you just sip red wine and listen to them play. So I was like sipping my red wine and I sent my like the group chat of my team like a little picture of me with my street euro. And my coach is like, what are you doing eating a street euro? And I was like, it pairs really well with my red wine. And he was like, I hate you so much. He's like, Marissa, you're like how many weeks out? And I was like, I'll be fine, Christopher. Like, I will be fine.
That's really funny. So was it easy for you to stay with your lifting when you were traveling? Were you able to find gyms everywhere and so on?
Yeah, people opened me with like welcomed me with open arms. In Mykonos, I trained at I can't remember what it's called, but they reached out to me before I got there. I trained there in Eos actually. So Eos is another island in Greece. I was just walking around, and this is probably one of the coolest moments. I was just kind of walking around, and one of the club owners just goes, "Mini Beast," and I was like, I literally like I didn't respond because I was like, "There's no way." there's no way that someone recognized me in the middle. Like, no way. And I literally like kept walking. He's like, Marissa. And I like stopped and I like turned. I was like, are you talking to me? And he literally goes, Mini Beast, yeah? I was like, yeah, hi. Like I walked over and we like started talking and he ended up being the owner of this club. And he was like, do you have a gym? Like I know there's no gyms in Eos. Like it's the smallest little like island. I love it to death, but it's like so small. And there's like no real gyms. And he's like, well, do you have a gym to train at while you're here? And I was like, no. And he's like, do you want to go with me? And I was like, are you going to kidnap me? And he was like, no. He's like, there's nowhere to, he's like, we're on the island where there's nowhere to go on the island. I can't kidnap you. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Sounds good. He's like, all right, I'm going to pick you up in a half hour. So I was like, okay, sounds good. So I went home. I was like, it was earlier in the day. It wasn't really like late. It was like 8 o'clock. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Like, sounds great. So I went back to the hotel and I was like, how do you know where I'm staying? And he goes, small island. Everyone knows. And I was like, oh my God. So we went back to the hotel. I got ready, got changed, went to this gym with the owner. It's called Traffic. If you ever go to EOS, you need to go to Traffic, the nightclub. It's actually so much fun. There's like little counters everywhere and you like go up on the stage. And we like went down and we opened a gym that was for this resort that was closed for the afternoon and you need access. So he knew the owner of the resort and we all went in and trained and all of them just kept being like Mini Beast. And it was just really cute. And they're like, can I take a video for you? So like when I look at your page, I can show my friends, like I took this video. I'm like, yeah, like it was so, I have never traveled and I don't want this to sound vain, but I've never had a experience where men didn't want anything from me other than just to be in my presence. And the group of guys that I was training with, they were so curious about the sport and the level of respect that they had for me because of my sports and like my competitions and my training. Like I didn't feel objectified. Like I didn't feel like they were catcalling me to just like, hit on, like I didn't feel like he was gonna like try to hit on me while we were at the gym or just pick me up and kidnap me. It was literally like he genuinely wanted to pick my brain about what was going on. And it was the best feeling ever, where it's just like someone genuinely just wanted to get to know who I was. And it was like bodybuilding also gave me that. So I don't know. I don't know if that sounds vain or not, but like I feel like as a woman, you get it. Like if you just randomly get yelled at on the street, you're like, okay, creepy, stop. But like legitimately, it's like I want to get to know you. I want to hear about your journey. Like it was great. So no, I've never really had an issue. If anything, bodybuilding has like opened a bunch of doors, even when I'm traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, that level of respect, there's a huge difference between like, the people asking you, like guys who are like, oh, well, I thought this, and what do you think about this? And you're like, oh, like you actually respect me and know that I know what I'm talking about, and not just like, oh, nice ass, whatever.
Just not another pretty face and pretty butt. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. I love that. I love that you had that experience, and you're going to have like so many more because I mean, obviously you're just becoming more and more famous.
Which still blows my mind. I think everybody that follows me is like a robot. I have like gaslit myself into thinking that all my followers are just like little bots, like someone paid them.
Stop.
It's literally imposter syndrome.
Yes. That I think
Yes.
that's probably the more famous that you become. I'm going to find your Instagram here. The more famous that you become, then I'm sure. Oops, let me see if we can get to
Marissa Mini Beast.
Instagram. Here we go. All right. Can you see? Where are we here? Okay. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if we can go. Why am I on Alec?
I don't know, but her eyes are gorgeous. That's all.
Yes. I already typed you in. Let's go to your Instagram account so everybody can find you and follow you. Over 100,000.
And also, yes, and I also have a giveaway that's going on until Thursday. So I don't know when you're going to share this, but if you guys want, it's literally $300 to Gasp, $300 to Better Bodies, a free angel posing suit, which is I think a few $100s, a stack from Max and Sledge. So it's really good giveaway.
You have really, really great sponsors
They
too.
are so I love them. They're so incredible. I feel so supported.
So let's go to this. When was this?
St. Louis, it's when I qualified. April 20 something. Oh, it says right there, April 23rd. I was like, when did I win that?
So, how long has this off season been for you?
Um, the one I'm in currently,
Yes.
so I started into my off season around June, February, March, April, around May, so right after Pittsburgh Pro.
Okay.
And you can actually see the center picture right there is
Mhm.
probably the coolest thing. So that was 8 weeks out from my pro win. So not even like forever ago. This was February of this year. So 8 weeks out of St. Louis. And this is a couple weeks ago or last week or something like that from my recent check-in. And it's real because my coach posted it and he refuses to even let me edit out my under eyes. So that's pretty freaking rude. But it literally was like, I'm like, it's literally like 4 a.m. I'm like, can you please let me just like edit this out? And he's like, no, authenticity. I was like, nobody's gonna think I'm unauthentic if I get rid of my bags under my eyes. Okay. Like, can you please stop being so rude? I have check-ins that he'll post and I literally have like a face mask still on and he like will share it on the internet. I'm like, Chris. He's like, what? He's like, people will know it's real. I'm like, but like even just look at my face. I just look so much more driven and happier in these.
You're
Like,
actually, yes, you do look like, it's almost like, when you have, like, you've been eating a lot of junk and then your face is just like, stop, like, and then you're like, okay, I'll eat a salad for Pete's sake. And then like your skin actually looks better.
everything. I've fully transformed, which is crazy.
Unbelievable.
Um, I forget what your question was. What was my off season? I went into it at the end of January, February, March, April, May, and like around mid-May. And then I started cutting around August. So school was starting. I wanted to get way ahead, which we're way ahead. And I wanted to literally, so our plan is to get figure lean and then slowly reverse so that because I'm actually taking finals the week of the Olympia. I have an exam in between prejudging and finals and they refused to move it. They allowed me to take it online, but they refused to let me move it. So I have to literally get off stage and run back to my hotel room to take an like exam for dental school and then go back for finals. So we were like, we're gonna get a ton of carbs in me. So I've been getting lean. So I started cutting around August. And yeah. Oh yeah, that was the same type of thing. 9 weeks out of St. Louis, that was peak bulk. So I was 170. And then 9 weeks out of Olympia. You can
Wow.
see those eye bags. He's so rude. Like, can you just like it's so rude, isn't it not? Like
Yes. Well, it's like I certain things I don't like. And one is that it's just like, I hate when people put a bad picture of me on the internet because it's there, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
no, I take bad pictures, but did you have to post that?
exactly. And it's the internet. I went on YouTube and someone told me they're like, have you Googled your name? And I was like, never. So I went on YouTube and Googled my name. Do you know that like every story I post, someone screen records it and posts it on YouTube? It was the weirdest. I don't think when I post stupid Instagram stories of me like twerking in my kitchen or like dancing around like acting a fool, and I literally go on and it's just all there, and I'm like, I need to be more careful about what I post because like this is so embarrassing. And in my head, I'm like, oh, it's only embarrassing for 24 hours. Oh no. Oh, they saved that. They saved it for a while.
That's insane. Like yeah, I know. I just love this. It's so cute. It's such a cute
Things
photo.
I had my lab partner take it.
What'd you say? Oh, your
I
left.
had my her name is Fatima and she took it for me because I was doing it on self-timer. She's like, do you want me to take your picture? I was like, yes. I love them. My dental school cohort is the most supportive, incredible humans. They like if there's days where I can't make it to class or I'm overwhelmed, or they'll see my Instagram story and I'm like, I'm so tired, I need help. Like they'll just be like, they'll text me and be like, I took notes for a lecture today. Here you go. Like, let me know what you can do to help. Like they are just, I'm so blessed. So blessed. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. I can't believe you're taking an exam between prelims and finals of the Olympia. Put that shit on your story. Like that's
Oh, I have a videographer coming with me, and I'm like, you need to hide in the room somewhere because no one could be there. I'm like, just record me. I'm gonna wear my bikini. We'll take some good pictures.
that's like
Do it for the story.
that is some boss girl shit. You're like, excuse
Oh,
me,
yeah.
as I step off stage too.
I literally, instead of like actually putting clothes on, I'll put like my white coat on instead with like my bikini underneath. That would be actually pretty badass. Okay, mental note. Okay. We got a new Instagram caption and a new Instagram picture while we chatted. Yes.
So when is this from? This is like,
That was the first day of New Year's last year when I first started training. That was my first check-in picture ever. So
yeah,
yeah,
that is
the
crazy.
same type of thing. So 11 weeks out from, I was very fortunate because it was pretty even. So my first show ever, or not first show ever, I like to say it was my first show because it was the first one I actually prepared for.
Yeah.
So sometimes I slip. I'm not trying to lie. It's just sometimes I slip because my mental is that was the first competition. But from Flint, mid Michigan, that was the first one. It was April 16th. St. Louis was April 23rd. So it's very easy to track in my calendar. It's basically the same amount of weeks out for everything. And then for Olympia, I'm very extremely observant. But like to go from that to that was a year. And then to go from the middle to the second was one good, real 4 or 5 month off season. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're not kidding about genetics and epigenetics definitely playing a part in here because you're 100% right. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is working harder than somebody else. People get different results, different connections with their muscles, and you also have this background with soccer and sprinting, which definitely I would think plays a role, but just the transformation is absolutely incredible. We're
Thanks.
rooting for you. We're rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm rooting for me too. I have an existential crisis. I'm like, all right, Marissa, get it together.
Who was so when your sister got you into, this and you decided to go kind of into wellness, was there anybody in the industry besides her maybe that you thought like that you were like that's my competition or just really had your eye on as somebody that you really liked their physique? Did anybody kind of inspire you? I kind of hate that word, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Trying to think back.
This is a great photo. I love this.
Thanks. My friend Ryan took it. He's so good. I worked with him more than any photographer. His name is Lomer. He's just such a sweetheart. Um, God, I was so happy. Um, yeah, that was, I think, seriously one of the best days of my whole life. But inspired me. Obviously, I look up to my sister. She comes from everything that I come from. So it's very, very, I feel like she did a lot of the hard work. She got into bodybuilding before me. She got into med school before me. She like did all of these things. And you know how much easier it is to believe you can do something when somebody that is literally like your twin has already done it. Like, I don't know how she had the confidence to do all of these things without someone showing her that it's possible. Like, like we were talking about the concept of like you have to see it to believe it. And it's like I had that privilege. Like I had somebody literally in my best friend, literally like she did it. So I saw it and I believed it, but she went into it and like she didn't see it. She like just believed that she could do it and she did. And I think that's so much more impressive, like isn't that crazy? She's insane. I'm so proud of her.
The first person to ever do anything, obviously this is like the person who proved to everybody else that X could be done, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's really incredible. And
Yeah.
this is why I just love this sport, because whether you like muscular men or women or whatever, you can still be inspired by somebody that was very passionate about something and decided that they could do something and do it better than the last person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um,
Um,
can you tell us a little bit about what your training looks like?
yeah, so I'm training 5 days a week. I train lower body 3 days, upper body 2. My upper body days are more of just kind of pump days. Not really, I can't really, I'm not allowed to grow my upper body anymore. But yeah, it's like my shoulders are like the size of my head. Um, my upper body days are very much just like pump days, more relaxed. I incorporate some glutes or calves into them too, but I do 2 hamstring days, 2 glute days, and 2 quad days a week, and they kind of like hamstrings, glutes, hamstring, quad, glute, that kind of
Mm.
every kind of structure like that. Um, I was doing cardio every day, 500 calories fasted in the morning, takes me about 50 minutes. Um, After my last check-in, my coach is like, "You're getting too lean, like you're 2 weeks out." I'm like, "Yes, I know." So he's like, "All right, chill on that." So he cut a day of cardio. I got a refeed. Actually, I have a refeed today, which is phenomenal. I had like this giant bowl of like 60 grams dry of oatmeal, banana, protein powder, peanut butter. Oh my god, I cried. I had the best lift. Literally, my like glute pump was it was rude. It was like stupid, like disrespectful. Off. I felt like I was like walking to the gym and like hitting things with my glutes. I was like, I'm sorry, like
She's got this wagon.
literally, like I walk in the door and my glutes finish walking in 5 minutes later. I'm like, sorry. If you don't, this is how I keep myself sane. I just like, even if I don't look that great, if I keep telling myself that I am the baddest on this planet, that I look amazing, like it's okay. If I live in my little fantasy, that's fine. So yeah, that's my training. 5 days a week, 6 days of cardio, 2 upper body, 3 lower.
So are you just like every other, you do a lower, upper, and then 2 days off? Or are you 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off?
3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off.
So you're kind of like a rotation, kind of like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
It's
all.
nice. I always have the same, we've set it up to really help with my school schedule. So my long days at school line up with a rest day, and my super long day at school lines up with a full rest day. So it is prescribed on that day that I need to take an Epsom salt bath, decompress. Like my mental is something that I need to protect very much because I do have that history of anxiety, depression. I'm taking antidepressants, which is something I've never really talked about online until recently. And I've like pushed so many of my friends to actually like explore, like not feel like they're failures because of that. So it's something I do want to talk about more and like show that like, yes, the gym saved my life, but antidepressants made me feel like myself again. So I do, yeah.
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 Was it a like, was it a kind of a searching journey? Because I know, I mean, I have a history of using different antidepressants as well. And I know sometimes you have to, it's a trial and error type of a thing. Was it pretty
Yeah.
for you to find something that worked for you, or?
Honestly, we got very lucky. My doctor was telling me that we got very lucky with my dosages right off the bat. So I didn't really have to look around. My dosage is like a combination of uppers and downers, so I don't feel like a zombie, but I'm also not just like a happy-go-lucky all the time. Um, it did definitely like I don't have the giant peaks of ecstasy and like the giant like lows anymore. My like emotional range is here instead of here, but I don't like I used to be like 90% here and like 10% here. So now that I'm like here, I'm so much more. That's why I say I'm content. Like I am happy. I am like ecstatic all the time, but like I don't have those giant crashes after. So it's calm. I didn't know that people could feel calm, which is crazy. Yeah.
I love that. I totally understand that. That's kind of been my thing with antidepressants, is that I'm like, I don't like not feeling the extremes, and I don't get low enough where I can't get to a point where I'm like, you know what, this will pass and I'm okay with it. But I know a lot of people have to skip out on those lows and the highs because they get too low or they get too high. So yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. But like you said, there's so many different ones out there. You can you can definitely figure out what is going to work for you. So
That's good.
well, I just have a couple of things and then I'm going to let you go because I know that you're you're so busy, and I appreciate your time so much. But I want to ask you, what is your most and least favorite thing about social media? Because it's just such a big topic.
That's a great question. I think, well, my favorite thing is I mean, I feel like it's obvious. It's just finding people that are passionate about the same thing that you are. And I've met so many incredible people through social media. Like some of my best friends, I've met one of my athletes who's become my best friend um, through social media. Would never have met her. She lives in a different state. I love being able to connect with people and help inspire people, but also be inspired by people's journeys. And if I'm ever like, it is so easy if I'm having a bad day to just reach out. And I've learned to break that stigma of like not wanting to, like, just being this like stone wall woman, like cold hearted, you know. And I've learned to just like, there's people out there that even if they've never met me before, they care. And that's the craziest thing, that the simple fact that like, well, this is actually not related to that, but this is just popped in my brain. The simple fact that I exist somehow out there makes people's lives better. And that's all I've ever wanted. I've always wanted to go into I wanted to go into medicine to do that. I like went to Greece to hang out and I ended up living in a refugee camp. All I want to do is make people's lives better. And the fact that I exist, social media lets me have this like this breadth of things where I can act like an absolute idiot and somehow it makes somebody in like Brazil smile, you know. Um, it's the coolest thing ever. But I think that the thing I don't like is that it has allowed people to remain anonymous and remain behind a screen and dehumanize the people that they follow. So it does, it fosters a lot of hate. Like every single day, I'm getting messages about of mean people. Um, there's a lot of hate. And I think that's my least favorite part. It just allows mean people a platform to get away with being mean. Um, so while, you know, people are people, and I think it really lets them show their true colors. So there are those, you know, super nice, happy people that spread joy and positivity, and I can be inspired by. But there's also, I'll open my phone and literally today, I'm like, I have on my like close friend story, just like this guy just was going off in my messages on every single picture, just being like on a fake. They let like it was just like some random little like just random numbers, was the account was like, you know how there's like a tag created that day, like this person just went out of their way to make a fake page to just say mean things to me. And it's like, if I was less emotionally stable, if I was having a bad day, like that could have probably gotten to me, but like thank God today has been a really good day. Like, you know, so I think those are my favorite and least favorite things about social media.
Yeah. It does, it floors me how many people are hurting. You know what I mean? That they take it out on other people.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. But
it breaks my heart.
the connections are so, yeah, like they
Yes.
never would have happened. You know what I mean? This whole world opens up, right?
Right. Yes. Like I know we met at the show, but like how would I have like people would have not known who I was in order to invite me? Like, yeah, everything. I
Right.
love it. I'm so blessed.
It was so funny seeing you there because I saw you and I was just like, you know, like it reminds me when you're a kid and you like see your teacher at the grocery store and you're like, why? Wait, she doesn't belong here. Like that's not where I'm used
It
to
is
seeing
so
her.
funny.
It's just like, oh wait, I know her from Instagram. Like she's famous. Wait, what? I didn't even know we were like in Michigan. I was so I don't even know. I was like, I'm dumb. Like what?
It was so funny. Jill, you know Jill, right? I can't
Uh,
remember her last.
what is her?
I
I
think
know,
it's her last name's Stevens. Why can I not? I'm blanking on this.
I'm not sure. Two of the girls that you were with, I think.
I met her that day. Yeah, Jill Stevens. It's Jazzy Jill Stevens on Instagram. This cutie. She was
Okay.
there. She was handing out trophies with me. I'd never met her before, and she literally came up to me and said the same thing. And she's like, "I see your glutes on Instagram all the time. Can I touch them?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "I'm serious." She's like, I double tap them like every day on Instagram." She's like, "I just want to double tap it once in real life." And I was like, "Okay." Like I was like, "Go for it." Like you asked so
Oh,
nicely, then nobody got any ideas. If you ask to touch my butt, the answer is no. Like
yeah, yeah. I just laughed because this is how I knew, like when Melissa was talking, when I was talking to Melissa and she was talking about your vibe, which was actually not too long ago, but I was just like, I like stood in front of the Grand Rapids sign, held up my phone for a selfie, and you just knew, you just like, like right in for, we hadn't even said
I just
hello
want to
yet.
play. I just want to be part of it. Okay.
You're like, this is my invitation. No words.
I lit it in my house. Like, what's she gonna do? Tell me to move? Like, she'll take another one after I leave. It's fine.
It was like exactly what I was doing. I was like, come on in the picture.
It was so fun. That was such a good show.
Oh my gosh. Mike is like, it's such a great show. It's such a great show.
I'm actually guest posing at Western Michigan.
What?
Yes. Will you be there?
I don't, at the Western,
It's in Grand Rapids. It's, I think, November 19th.
oh
I was just talking.
well, I should go then because yeah.
It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
I think, let me see. November. I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't see anything. November.
What's the date of the Olympia this year?
December 16th is when I compete.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Friday.
Well, it's 4 weeks ahead of that, or
Yes. Yeah, I'll be 4 weeks out, which is perfect. So I'll probably be, like I said, my coach wants me to get figure lean and then reverse out. So I will be stupid lean. I talked to Melissa about helping me, since I'm like, guest posing, I want to do something a little more exciting. Wellness posing is cool. But like there's so much more cool stuff to do. So I was like, will you help me like craft a plan? Like, so I'm like, so we're gonna work together, and if she has the time, I'm gonna have her help me like do all the cool like cool poses. But yeah, that's November 19th. I was so excited.
That's so awesome. Because yeah, you're right. I mean, having a like, I think it's great to have all the divisions come in, but yeah, to put a little performance together or dress like some sort of costume would be awesome. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of wellness guest posers. I think Eureka is the only one that's actually guest posed, as like from what I know. So
and I don't think I've seen any of her, like I haven't seen it. Does she like costume and everything?
She didn't actually pose. She's salsa dance, because her background is in dancing. So she had a costume on and she danced. I don't know. I can't say for certain if she posed, but the only videos I saw was her actually like just dancing, which is pretty cool too. She's very talented.
I just realized I think we got distracted, and I don't think, did you answer the question of who inspired you?
Oh no, I said it. I'm sorry, my ADD brain.
And I was like, wait, I don't think she ever mentioned another.
No, so obviously my sister. I really looked up. So I look up to a lot of people that I compete against now. Actually, Mia Samuels is one of the big ones. She's just always been like, I love her energy. She's just a giant ray of sunshine. And even like before I met her, I've competed against her at St. Louis, and the first thing she did when I won was like tackle me backstage and give me a hug. And like some of the other girls were like, they just lost. They were still bitter. But like it was like Mia didn't even care. Like she was more excited and happy because I was so happy. And then like she's like, I'll come second. Like we're going to make this the best moment for you. Is what like it's just people like that. So she inspires me. I knew her beforehand, and then we became friends. I was a fan of Cassandra Gills beforehand, and then obviously I hired her coach, and now we're friends. So it's like, haha, sucka, like I was your fan, and now we're friends. So she was amazing in the sport. Obviously, Franciele Matos is phenomenal. She is the queen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's incredible. I've always really looked up. And then Andrea Shaw is a personal friend here, so I've always looked up to her too. She is the epitome of, even outside of bodybuilding, what I want to be as a woman. She is just so kind and incredible. And after I won my pro card, I'd met her once at the Flint, Michigan show. And when I won my pro card, I came back to hand out trophies. And she came backstage, and I later found out she didn't actually know who I was, but she literally sprinted out. Like she asked somebody, they were like, oh, that's Marissa, she just won her pro card. They're like, you met her before? And she came backstage and sprinted up to me, picked me up in the air, like spun me around. And I literally, it was like, oh my God, she loves me. We're best friends. And I didn't even know that she didn't even know my name at the beginning of the day. But she's like that type of person. She's just the type of person that makes everybody in her life feel like they are the most important person that could exist to her. And it takes such a special person to do that. So obviously bodybuilding, like she is phenomenal. She's stunning. She is amazing at what she does, but she's also just like has a good soul. I don't know how else to say. She's just like she's just good. She's just good people. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Well, I mean, you guys are similar. Like
Ew.
you're the same way. So I can
That's
see
the
why.
nicest thing anyone's ever said. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, last thing, what's your favorite day to train? Like your like leg day or whatever it is. Um,
I love hamstrings and glutes, very obviously, but I also very much like shoulders. I love shoulder day. So like I hamstring and glutes have always like they're my strongest, so that's why I like it. But shoulders, I like when you get like that shoulder pump and like I am like all of you saw me. I'm like 5'1". I'm really like that's where the mini comes from. So like I'm not like a big person, but like when I get a shoulder pump, like you can't tell me shit. Like I'll be in the mirror and I'm like, hey little mama, like I literally like will always like Snapchat people be like, call me daddy. And they're like, can you stop? Like you're so embarrassing. I'm like, grr. So it's like I like shoulder day just because of the way it makes me feel. So
well, and I think like part of that too is you having to like you get that taken away from you because you can't go heavy and everything right now because obviously you're
yes.
sculpting a specific type of physique, you know. So yeah. What
Yeah.
is your glute and hamstring day look like?
Hip thrusts, straight leg deadlifts. I have some triple drop sets now that I'm getting closer to the show. Adductions, like cable abductions, kickbacks. I literally just did it, so I'm just trying to run through the day. Glute hamstring raises with a superset of goblet squats. I think that was it. So yeah, a lot of volume right now that I'm getting close, but usually in my off season, we go for a lot of strength and shorter reps. And right now my rep range is if it's not a triple drop set, it's usually like 8, 8, 8, 8 for drop sets, but then it's 10 to 12 otherwise right now. So
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
lots of time under tension. My lower back is always so mad. Yeah.
Well, I just love that. I love that your sister brought you into the sport. I love that you're your own person in it now, making your own way. And we're all cheering for you. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much. That means the world. Seriously. I couldn't have done it without the love and support of everybody in my circle. Whether you like whether we're friends or like it's just like an internet friendship or anything, like I cannot express every comment, every like everything. Just it means I could not have done it without you guys. So I won't prove you guys wrong. I got this. I swear. I'm gonna bring it home.
If you is there any last like message that you want to give to the women that are listening?
You can do it. Even if you don't see it, you have it in you. Just because you don't see your potential doesn't mean it's not inside of you. Just because you don't have it yet doesn't mean that you don't have it inside of you. Seriously, take something from my cocky ass that looked like I did a year and a half ago and was posting with the same attitude that I am now. If you tell yourself that you are the baddest person on the planet, that you are the best person on the planet, you will start to believe it. And then you will start to see it. And then others will start to see it. So,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome. Marissa, I know we pulled up your Instagram, but what is it one more time so that people can follow you on your journey?
Marissa Mini Beast.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone once again for listening and watching to another episode of the Women's Fittest. You can find me on Instagram at buffcake22 and you can follow the podcast at the Women's Fittest. You can find us on YouTube at buffcake22 and listen wherever you listen to podcasts. And to remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.